Hi, it's me again with CorelDraw tips and tricks. Somebody sent me this D, the letter D with some fuzzy, looks like fuzzy dots on the outside. It's a bitmap because whenever you move the bitmap, you can see the gray bounding box. I'm going to try to reduplicate this pretty close. So I'm going to get my ellipses about this. So I'm going to hold down the control button and make an ellipse about that size. And let's see how close we are. And we're pretty close. It's 0.52. So let's make our nudge factor with nothing. And this is where a lot of people get confused. If you have something selected, your nudge factor goes away. So let's make, if this was 5.12, let's make this 0.518. And then he said that, or they said, the color does not matter, so we'll make it black. Then I'm going to Control D and move it over. That's a little bit too close. So let's delete that one, change our nudge factor to like 0.52. And let's Control D and make a duplicate. There we go. And Control D. They're still a little bit too close, but this will work for the video. And then you still got your nudge factor set, so we'll go down. Now to make this work, you've got to group this together, Control G. Now we're going to get a letter. We'll just go ahead and use D. Let's make it a thicker D, so we're going to go to Arial Black. Sometimes you have to click off of it when you change. That's pretty close in size. Let's make it a little bit bigger. So my dots are not quite big enough, so what we can do just for the video, we'll just expand them out a little bit. Now, after you do this, you don't want to move anything, so I'm going to left click, right click, and I'm going to put this over, and you can see my dots are in the right space. Now, for this to work, we need two copies. So we're going to grab our text. Well, let's just move that up. Whoop. I'm going to set my nudge factor to see how big this is. Wow, 12 inches. Set my nudge factor on 12 inches, and let's move this out of the way. Now this, I actually need two copies of it. So I'm going to hit the plus key on the keyboard and make a copy. And I'm going to turn that one red, and I'm going to nudge it over. Now for this to work, you've got to be able to see the red in front. So the red's in front. And this is what I like about the intersect tool, because it'll keep my object. So I've intersected it, and there's my inside. Now we want to make this the outside. So let's take away that letter, and let's make this one. We're going to go up to Object and convert it to a curve. We have to do that. Let's go to Object and convert the outline to an object. Let's make it that's probably pretty close. We could actually make it a little bit thicker, but go to Object and convert the outline to an object. We're going to left click, right click, and now we have some objects. So now we can nudge that over. I'm going to turn them red to make sure I'm on the front of that. Now we need to select it all. There's a hidden ghost right there, so I'm going to delete it. I'm going to select it all and go up to intersect. And then there is our outside of our line. Now it's just a little bit bigger. So what I'm going to do now, and I can actually move this over so I can see it in kind of like real time, because it always goes back to the last thing you selected. Now we're going to go to Object, Blur, and we're going to Gaussian blur it. And it's only going to blur it way too much. Let's go back. We want to see those dots. Now this is a little bit different. Well, I know what I did wrong. Let's go a little bit more blur. Really what I want is well, that's pretty close. We'll see what it looks like zoomed in. So the difference is I didn't have a thick enough line. So let me back up here. And let's make this line, well, let me back up to where it was a text. There we go. Let's make it whenever you don't have that, we can go 0.7 5 and make it a little bit thicker. And you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to left click. I'm going to go ahead and convert it to an outline. I'm going to left click, right click, and let's see if it, yeah. So now it's going to be a little bit bigger than that. Now I've still got my dots over here and I can move it over. Now I can move my dots a little bit, but I can't move my letters. So because I want to nudge it right back. So I'm going to move my dots a little bit. I can see the red. Well, we're not all the way there. Well, you know what? Just for the video, I'm going to expand that out a little bit. Well, I grabbed the whole thing. So let's just grab the dots, expand the dots out a little bit. Now let's select it all. Go up to intersect tool, and what that did, that intersect the inside. And so now we can take, and there's a little bit of a block right there. There's something, let's look at it in a wireframe. I don't know why that happened. Let's go back to view and enhanced. I don't like that little non dot there. Oh, I must have moved the whole thing. Let me just back up here. So that's the problem when you move something. I must have moved those. I moved the whole thing. So I'll put this back. And now that's good enough. And I'll intersect. Go up to intersect. Now, if we put it over here, we can do this in real time. I can click off of it, but when I click back with my pick tool, it'll be the last item selected. So I've still got my outside. I'm going to go to blur and Gaussian blur. And we can up that up a little bit. And I hope I kept the original. Yep, I did. Now, it's not the same color, but he didn't really want the color. So that's pretty close. You know, there's probably several ways you could do this, but I think we got what he wanted. I mean, if you can see the blur of the inside, you can actually see a line of the blur. And on mine, yeah, you can see the line. So it's got a blur. Now let's look at it with a yellow box just to make sure it doesn't affect anything. You don't want any black or white background. Order back a page. Nope, we're good to go. The blur is not white. It's that's pretty good. I hope that helped them a little bit. Thank you for watching.